everyone, and welcome to today's morning market. So today I want to focus in on what has arguably been the main piece of data coming out this month, and that is the US CPI print later today. But before I do that, I want to give a shameless plug for something, which is our Do More With Your Money show. So this week it's hosted by our Chief Exec, Mr. Daniel Harrison. It's a Q&A special, so it's your chance to ask questions around investments, your own investments, markets, but also broader topics as well. Our business, True Potential. If there's something you want to ask about things that are very topical now, such as what's happening with energy prices, the cost of living crisis, we've got an expert panel on hand who'll give you that information. So please do tune in and please type your questions into the comment box. Okay, so before I jump into talk a little bit around the inflation print, I just wanted to talk about what has happened in stock markets overnight yesterday. Okay, so if you look at the FTSE 100, yesterday it actually reached a 2-month high. So that was driven by what was happening within the oil sector. Within developed markets today, what you're seeing is actually markets are generally quite flat. And that's really because investors are waiting to see what comes out of the US inflation print later today. If we look within China, a little bit negative overnight. And the rationale for that is we've actually had China inflation data out last night. And investors are still judging what will happen with the Chinese central bank and how they'll react to that. Well, okay, let's go to the main event. Let's talk about what's happening with US CPI. So when we look at forecast expectations, it's expected to come in at 8.7%. But what does that mean? It's just a number. Well, firstly, if it does come in at that level, it will be lower than last month. So last month was 9.1%. And what does that show to us? Well, actually what you could see, and this is our base case here at True Potential, is that actually you start to see US inflation slowly come down over the following quarters. If we look though, 8.7% is still very, very high. It's clearly higher than the 2% target that the Federal Reserve have, so the US Central Bank have. Now, what does that mean when inflation's high? Well, when inflation is high, central banks will tighten interest rates. Why do they do that? So they increase interest rates to reduce demand, which then factors into the overall inflation print. Now, the reality is you can't have inflation at 9%. No, it's not normal. It's abnormal when we look at that environment. And then if we look at the underlying components and what that could look like when we actually look at the print itself, well, firstly, what's been quite interesting is actually petrol prices have become a little bit more contained, and hopefully you will have seen this yourselves. If you look at what's been happening in the oil price, it peaked out at $130 a barrel. You're now looking at around about $95 a barrel overall. I think the areas that are maybe a little bit more concerning is you're still seeing inflation within food prices quite high. And I think the other thing is if we look at what we call core CPI, so this is stripping out things such as energy, so the more volatile parts of the inflation print, then actually that's expected to go up by about 0.2%. What does that mean? Well, it shows that actually you can see inflation permeating into different areas of the economy overall. But look, that's everything from me. A very exciting day for us today. A lot of really interesting information coming through for myself and the investment team. And for those that are really interested in a more in-depth review of what happens with the US inflation data, that will come through on tomorrow's morning market. Thanks a lot. Speak to you soon.
If you're interested in taking your investing to the next level, or would like to know more about the options available to you when you retire, then download our free guides to ISAs and pensions. These are available in the video description below.